We're probably within 200 or 300 yards of the fence. And it's invisible. This is like when you look overhead. There aren't any Mexican stars or American stars. It's like a great biological unity with a meat cleaver of law cutting it in half. If you look to the north, northeast, you can see the glow of the lights of Tucson. If you look down at your feet, they're going to have to move constantly for 3 days to get there. And they can't move during the day much. After about 11 a.m., the heat will knock them down. They follow the person in front of them. They fall a lot. And they're afraid. They're afraid of the desert at night anyway. It's a different desert when you're being hunted.
Since 2001, more than 2,100 migrants have perished in the Sonora desert that separates Mexico from Arizona. In her poem, Offended Turf, Margaret Randall describes how.
Along this fictitious border, dark tubes snake, throwing their shadows in foreshortened stripes across offended turf until they stop suddenly beyond washes threatening our vehicle. 2 Border Patrol SUVs race to the far end, intent on beating us to the unprotected crossing. Government calls this a fence, though it's clearly a wall. Its solid dimension meant to keep humans, small animals, and cultures apart. Between uprights I glimpse the old mattress springs and sad ocotillo laced with barbed wire, irrelevant in sand. Standing by a Wackenhut bus, waiting to fill with the unsuccessful it will deliver to the other side, guards wear gunmetal gray with red and black insignias. Fascism, empty power, aimed at the most vulnerable, aimed at us all. Along the lonely desert roads with clusters of Minutemen in unmarked cars, a parade of jeeps with license plates from far-flung states, abandoned plastic gallon jugs, some filled with the urine of desperation, some cracked beneath mid-March sun. This month's heat is no match for July or August, yet brittle earth cradles the dead on a landscape of mesquite and ironwood, cacti and rabbit brush, where one nameless cross wails Inri and adios to all who pass. At Arivaca, on the walls, flyers for No More Deaths recognize locals who organize a first line of defense for those who only want to live. Surrounded by virtual fence towers, billions spent on failure, dry ocotillo, barbed wire, we have full measure of might bereft of right.
As of April 5, 2 million people have been taken from our communities. Deported. 2 million is too many. Every 75 seconds, an immigrant is deported. You will hear a gong to remind us that a family, a career, a community, a life is interrupted.
2 million, too many! 2 million, too many! 2 million! hitherto he committed a crime. He drove his bleeding wife to the hospital alive without a license. Not a good thing to do. He stood before the judge, his hands shackled to his feet. She asked for his plea in a streamline beat. He said culpable. She gave him 90 days. 90 days in a for-profit jail. Then he'll go out to a land of no opportunity. He'll get deported. They'll call it voluntary return.
As Semana Santa approaches, East Bay interfaith groups hold their monthly vigil at Richmond County Jail, where scores of people are being held by La Migra, transforming the traditional Lenten Stations of the Cross into the migrants' stations of deportation. Station 1. The migrant is apprehended at the border or in the desert, or handed over to ICE or through ESCOM for a traffic ticket. Station 2. The migrant is detained. After being apprehended, the migrant disappears into a maze of federal and county detention centers, stripped of his or her clothes, cell phone, belongings, and unable to reach their families. The migrant proceeds to Station 3. The migrant is awaiting a bond hearing. No attorney. Phone calls are too costly. No visits. The migrant is alone, disoriented.
¿Por qué lo has abandonado? Dios mío, Dios mío, ¿por qué lo has abandonado?
The migrant will proceed to Station 4, where he goes to his or her bond hearing, shackled after weeks or months imprisoned, to see a judge who will set a high bond and maybe order the migrant to wear an ankle bracelet to keep track of his or her whereabouts once that bond is paid. Station 5. The migrant goes to trial. Shackled in 3 different places, the wrists, the waist, and the ankles, the migrant will most likely be deported. Station 6. The migrant is deported. He or she arrives to her place of birth. The migrant has no money, only the clothes on their back. The migrant is grieving at being separated from his or her family and loved ones. The migrant never had a chance to say goodbye.
¿Por qué lo has abandonado? Dios mío, Dios mío, ¿por qué lo has abandonado?
If you are calling about an alien in immigration custody, press 2. If you are calling regarding the case of an alien in removal proceedings but not in custody, press 4. If you are calling regarding the case of an alien that is on the intensive supervision appearance program, press 5. If you are calling regarding an alien... Local, state, or federal custody for whom an immigration detainer has been placed, press 6. If you're calling regarding an alien's property or for information regarding aliens taken into custody within the last 48 hours, press 1. If you're calling about an alien whose immigration file number ends in the numbers 0 or 1, press 3 now. If you're calling about an alien whose immigration file number ends in the numbers 2 and 3, press 4 now. If you're calling about an alien whose immigration file number ends in the numbers 4 or 5, press 5 now. If you're calling about an alien whose immigration file number ends in the numbers 6 or 7, press 6 now. If you're calling about an alien whose immigration file number ends in the numbers 8 or 9, press 7 now.